Hello, and welcome to Marketplace with Charles, brought to you by Art of Skincare. Art of Skincare, the company that brings out the beauty in you, as well as Kuisa Lodge, where dreams do come true, situated in the heart of Mambalingwe Nature Reserve. Think of it, sleeping, dreaming, and waking up with a big five. That is Kuisa Lodge. I am Charles Ngobeni. On Marketplace, we aim to empower, encourage, and equip you with the right tools that you need to move closer to you achieving your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week, we bring you insight from experts in different fields of business, from men and women of faith. It is souls like my girls today that are nothing less than a breath of fresh air to our view of what seems like a bleak future for our society. When young people arise and take their place in destiny, then you know that there is a hope for our country, for our continent, Africa, and for the whole world. Today, we meet a young, dynamic visionary. They say, dynamite comes in small packages. At a tender age of 16, he is already hailed as an author, a motivational speaker, a radio and a television personality, an SABC3 Expresso 2018 Young Achiever, and a Brand SA Play Your Part Ambassador. I invite you today, wherever you are, to hear this young man, and I know he's going to inspire you. Your life will never be the same after this episode. Ntando, welcome to Marketplace with Charles.
Thank you for having me, sir.
If you don't mind, who is Ntando?
Ntando Makwela is an author of The Dynamic Kid, 9 Keys to Unlock Your Future. He's a motivational speaker. He has spoken at various events in different schools and spoken in order to empower people to take charge and to make their lives better.
A motivational speaker?
Yes.
At an age of 16?
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel very proud because I was one of the few people to come out of my shell pretty early in my life to realize that motivational speaking was something that I could do and also something that could help motivate people to do what they want to do in life, whether it is starting a business, writing their own books, or just wanting to inspire other people.
Your parents must be very proud of you.
Well, they have told me. When I was young, they saw something in me that I probably didn't see myself at the time, and they took the time to nurture my talents and nurture my skills in order for me to be where I am today.
You must be having great parents.
Yes, I have great parents because they allowed me to find myself when I was younger. They allowed me to explore my own tastes, my own likes, everything that I wanted to do when I was young. My parents encouraged me to do. And when I decided I wanted to write a book, my parents encouraged me to do that as well.
You see, in most cases, you hardly get parents allowing their kids to be whom God has created them to be. They want their kids to be like themselves. And I think you're one of the fortunate ones whom you have support from your parents who are not writers, who are not motivational speakers, but they supported your vision and your ambition.
Yes, most parents, I think, they want their children to be like them because some things they have not accomplished, they want their children to accomplish. So some parents may have dreamt of being lawyers, but that did not materialize, so they pass that on to their children, when they may not realize that their children may have different talents. You know, I've seen different cases where parents want children to be lawyers, but they're good at art or they're good at something else. And my advice would be for the parents to get to know their children better. You know, a career, yes, is good, bringing home money is good, but if you don't know your children, then that will have a negative impact on their future.
I love the way you put it. Their parents want to realize their own dreams through their children.
Yes.
They should have realized their own dreams during their own time. Okay. Yes. But tell me, you have also been referred to as a brand SA, play your part ambassador.
Yes.
What does that entail?
So Brand SA Play a Part is all about encouraging South Africans to take active citizenship. So we want South Africans who grow the country, who bring a positive impact on the country. So when Brand SA made me the ambassador, they saw that I was doing those things, even though at the time, all I just wanted to do was inspire children. But they felt that my vision was bigger than just inspiring children, and I could inspire an entire nation. So as Brand SA Play a Part, that's what they aim to do. They want people who grow the country, who make the country great, and encourage patriotism across the board.
Let me say this. You are not only inspiring the children. I heard you speak for the first time in my life, and then I realized, no, you are great. And I was inspired.
Oh, thank you.
And I said to myself, I need you to mentor me.
Oh, gosh, me mentoring you. It's more like you mentoring me, because what you've done is something that I aspire to do, to be able to have so many businesses and to show people that they can find success whatever age they are in. And that's what the book is about, to show people that whatever age you are, you can aspire for success. As you say, I wanted to inspire the youth, but then when adults picked up the book, they realized that it sort of inspired them as well. And I carried on that message because we don't want to leave people behind. The adults as well, they have a dynamic kid within them that just needs to be unleashed, because it doesn't matter what your age is, you still have a lot to offer the world.
Can I tell you something? The highly successful people, they always aspire to be more success. They never reach what I would call is the ultimate goal. They'll put a bar somewhere here. Before they reach that bar, they shift it. They put it here. Before they reach that bar, they again shift it. I think you're just like one of them. Because as far as I'm concerned, you are highly successful. And you're still telling me today, you still want to be successful. You never realize that you are successful already.
For me, it's not about just, it's not about just celebrating this success, but it's to continue forward. Because what I realized is that most people plateau. They have a moment where they feel that they're successful, and then they just kind of get comfortable. And that can be a negative thing, because if I become comfortable, it impacts my creativity. There's still a lot I have to give to the world. This book is an example. I wanted to be an author when I was around 25, and I think I've now broken that 10 years early. I published my book December 2017, so now it's all about growing more, helping more people, inspiring more children, and ultimately taking my message across the world, because the world needs to hear a message of positivity, because we live in a very negative world. And we need a positive message to send to all the children of the world, that we can all work together to make our world a better place.
Let's now talk about where you started until where you are today.
So when I was younger, around 3, I developed an interest in reading, but that was before I could speak. So my parents had to kind of guess that, okay, Ntando now can read, so let's give him some more books. So I only started speaking at 4. And they saw this as a kind of a challenge, because how are we going to be able to communicate with the child who can read but he can't speak? So they decided to give me more books that increased my knowledge. And when I was around 9, I had written my first book. It hadn't been published, but that never deterred me from carrying on. So I continued writing, and when I was 13, I came up with the idea for this book, The Dynamic Kid. It had so many titles, Super Kid, Wonder Kid, but then I realized Dynamic Kid was important, because dynamic is the essence of what I wanted to write about. Dynamic is someone who never stays still. They always change. They always make progress. They're the people who push the world further. So when I was 13, that happened. It took a lot of time to write. It took 6 months to write. It took a year to edit, because, as a child, you can have a lot of things in different places, getting everything in the correct place, making sure that we can get the most out of each chapter, and presenting the book the way it is today.
Well, viewers out there, a young man who could not speak at an age of 4, coming up with a book. After the break, we'll go deeper. Welcome back to Marketplace with Charles. I am still sitting here with Ntando. Ntando, the dynamite or the dynamic kid. Or should I say, there's a dynamite in this dynamic child. Ntando,
Yes.
I love what you said. At an age of 4, you could not speak. And your parents bought you books. At an age of 9, you wrote your first book and another one which hasn't been published.
Yes. So when I was 9 years, that book that was never published, I still decided not to publish it now because, you know, it's a book that I wrote when I was 9. I don't want to change the way it was written. So The Dynamic Kid was the project that I'd first published, and I plan to publish many more books.
But what inspired you to do all this great stuff, which most people, including myself, I reserved it until I graduated. And you started it in an early age. Where do you get the inspiration from?
My parents are my main source of inspiration.
Yes.
When I was 11, they started taking me to seminars where they train business people, where they teach you success techniques. So I realized then at the age of 11 that I did not have to wait till I was older to be able to do the things I do now. So when I was 11, I went to my first seminar. I liked the seminars because it wasn't so much as school. Yes, you did learn new things, but you learned things you could use. And I learned that knowledge was not power. Applied knowledge is power. So what most people do is that they learn things, but they never really apply what they learn. If they apply what they learn, though, then they will become successful because those techniques are good, but people procrastinate. They never use them because they fear the hard work, they fear failing. And failure is a part of life. No one ever gets something done correct the first time. Even me with my book, I had to rewrite it several times to get the message out correctly. But if your fear is failure, then you're never going to try anything because failure is inevitable. It's a part of life. It happens, and you just need to learn to deal with it and move on.
So what you say is just like one man of God, I heard him saying, plan your work and work out your plan. Because if you plan your work only without working it out, it never helps you. Let's talk about a statement which you once said, that if you put your mind on anything, you can achieve it. Do you
Yes.
want to elaborate on that? What do you mean by that?
So what I meant by you can do anything you put your mind to was that anything that you want in life, anything that you want, may it be success, may it be long-lasting relationships, anything that you want in life, you can do it because your mind is an amazing instrument. And your mind can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. But once you learn how to make your mind your best friend, it can do anything that you want it to do. I learned this firsthand. When I started writing the book, my mind started coming up with a lot of information. I started getting my information together to be able to write this book. But I had to make my mind my best friend because most people, they develop habits that are not good for them. Laziness, they don't want to read. They would rather sit down and, not do the work that they need to do. So when you learn those habits, those do not help you positively because you end up not being able to do the things you want, but then you still want these things. Like I've heard people saying, oh, I want this car. This is my dream car. But when you ask them, what are you planning to do to get that dream car? They don't have a plan.
Yeah.
So the first thing to do is to develop a plan. And developing a plan helps your mind work out what it is that you want to do. When you have that plan in place, then you can start doing things that you can start achieving, and you can start doing the things that you need to do to get where you need to be.
That's so profound.
Thank you.
We all want to be dynamite, but we do not have plans that we will follow to be dynamite. Let's talk about the concept of the dynamic kid.
So the concept of the dynamic kid, a person who, in my introduction, I say, someone who's a world changer, someone who changes things, someone who does not settle for less, someone who constantly improves themselves and it helps to inspire other people. The reason why the dynamic kid is because children these days are not, they need that support, they need the love, and they need something to motivate them to keep going. Because we're raised in a generation where people think things are easy, where you can get rich quick and stuff like that without having to work hard. People will say that, oh, this guy's an overnight success, but you never see the work behind the scenes. It takes a lot of time to do what we're able to do. And when we appear on shows like this one, people always look at what's on the surface. They'll see, okay, I'm a dynamic kid and I've done this, and you are a businessman and you have done this, but they never look at what happened before. What we aim to do is to show people that it does require work, it does require effort, and it requires time to be able to get that success that you want, because you don't want to be a one-hit wonder. You don't want to be someone who becomes successful for 6 months and then after that you don't do anything else. So the dynamic kid is all about that person, as you said, who raises the bar, who never creates a ceiling for themselves, who always aspires to be better, because the dynamic kid is in every single person. Just like they say, awaken the beast within you. The dynamic kid is within each and every person, regardless of their age, regardless of their gender, regardless of their background, because the dynamic kid is that nagging feeling, that desire to be a better person. And when you unleash that person within you, you can achieve some great things.
Ntando, you wrote a book. What is the book all about?
So the book contains 9 keys to unlock your future. So each key, whether it be purpose, potential, talents, or anything else that you need to be able to be successful in life, it's all about showing people that the results that they want, they don't have to look outside for them. Because all these keys are about what's inside a person. A purpose is within a person. Talents are within a person. Self-development is within the person. Because once you can develop the self, then the outside world begins to change. People want to see results without changing themselves. And what I realized from a young age is that if you develop yourself, you become more valuable to people around you, and you are the one who's able to create results for yourself. You know, as God never wanted people who stay in one level. God wanted us to rise up, to become the people that we want to be. To be born and to be made in God's image is to be someone who always grows themselves, who is always bigger, who is always better, because we know that God did not create us for mediocrity. He created us for success. And when we are the ones who help develop ourselves for that success, then we will realize that we don't have to stay in one level. We can always go higher.
Let's talk about your book, The Dynamic Kid. 9 keys to unlock your future.
So
You have got
yes.
9 keys.
Yes.
Do you want to take me through these 9 keys?
Okay.
Keys.
So there's 9 keys. So
Yes.
the first key is purpose. How
Purpose?
do you develop yourself? Yes. And then the second key is talents.
Yeah.
How do you find those talents within you and use them to become someone greater? The third key is your potential, because everyone has the potential to become successful. The fourth key is self-development. How do you grow yourself to become a better person? The fifth key is all about getting involved, because if you get involved, then you're able to make a positive difference in the world. The sixth key is beliefs. How do you grow your beliefs? How you change your beliefs to create beliefs for success? The seventh key is values. How do you develop values that coincide with God and that also help you for success? The eighth key is money matters, because in this world today, it's not just about spirituality and happiness and health. It's also about wealth, because wealth is what you leave behind for your future generations. And the ninth key is all about entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is the future, and entrepreneurship is what pushes people and what pushes countries forward, because without entrepreneurship, countries don't grow. They always stay stagnant.
Where do you learn all these things? Where do you get all these keys from?
So I attended different seminars, like I said, from the age of 11. I still attend them now. I always want to grow myself. Those seminars helped me develop these keys. And I realized that particularly the youth and people around just needed these keys in order to realize that the future is within them. People always want to know about Bitcoin and real estate and business and all these things. But you can't fail in all of those departments if you're not a good entrepreneur, if you're not a good real estate investor, if you're not a good Bitcoin trader, if you are not the person that can grow that thing. Because you can't be a mediocre person and expect to have a successful business. So the first thing that everyone needs to learn is how to become a successful person, and that will translate to what's happening outside them.
Most people today, they depend on the government. When you are born, the government gives you a grant. When you have got a terminal disease, the government gives you a grant. When you grow old, they also give you a grant. They call it a pension. And all these grants, I don't believe they are enough to sustain one's lifestyle. When you are pregnant as a young girl and give birth, you also get a grant. What do you say to our nation, which depends on grants?
Grants lower your lifestyle because they don't pay you enough. You get 1,000 or 2,000 rand a month, but that's not the lifestyle you want. That's the lifestyle you use to survive. And most people, they don't aim higher because they don't believe that they can be greater people. And when you use grants to sustain your life kind of plateaus, and you never kind of live the life that you want to live. I do want to live the life of a person who is genuinely successful, who doesn't need a grant if I become terminally ill or if I grow old, or you don't want to have grants all the time, because those grants limit the type of life you can live. And with a country that's depending on grants, it shows in the way people are looking at the future. They don't see the future as bright. They see it as bleak because they feel that they can't do anything if the government won't help them. They always blame the government for everything. The government is doing this, the government is doing that. But regardless if the government is doing this or that, there's still a way for you to succeed. There are people who succeed when the government's doing well and when it's not doing well. And you need to learn how to succeed in both those situations. Because when you do that, you won't be dependent on the government for everything. Because I feel that the government right now, you can see that they can't handle all the people who are living off pensions, all the people who are living off grants. They need people who decide that they're going to make their own income and that they're going to be successful without the help of the government.
In a few seconds, where do you see yourself within the next 5-7 years?
So within the next 5-7 years, I plan to continue writing books. I'm launching a new book in October 2019. I also plan to study in university. I want to do quantum physics. So I love science, so that's what I'd like to continue doing, but also to do writing in university because I'd like to take my writing further. I also like to see myself traveling across the world and showing people how they can become dynamic kids within them, to continue growing young people, not just me being there alone, to grow more young people who will inspire others, because the more young people we have inspiring people, the better. And when we have more young people and we have more people who will stand up, then that will be better for our country and our continent.
And if someone wants a copy of your book or wants you to go and address them in their churches, in their conferences, how do they get hold of you and the book?
So we have an email address called the realdynamickid@gmail.com. So our website's still getting set up. So in a few months, we'll have our website ready and people can contact us there. But for now, you can contact us on the realdynamickid@gmail.com. You can pop an email there, pop your address, and we'll courier the book to you. Or if you want me to engage in a speaking event for your company, business, or church, you can also contact me there. I also have social media. Facebook, you can see me on Ntando Makwela, on Twitter, Ntando Makwela 15, and on Instagram, Ntando_Makwela.
Well, I am a dynamic kid signing off on Marketplace with Charles. You can also get hold of me on charlesngobeni.com or on Instagram, Charles_Ngobeni, or you can go and like my fan page on Facebook. Well, see you next time, same channel, and God bless you.
Greetings, this is Dr. Abraham S. Roger extending an invitation to come join our Bible school. We want to train, equip, activate, and release you into your ministry. We offer a program from first year all the way to PhD level. We are fully correspondent, and our material and our broadcasts are available all over the world. So why waste any further time? Contact us today. And just remember, we are free and waiting to train you, equip, and activate you into the ministry God has in store for you. See you soon at one of our campuses.